Little Nightmares was a fantastic game with an extremely cryptic story, which we hope the next installment will attempt to explain and break down. I made a video earlier explaining the story of Little Nightmares, including its DLC, The Secrets of the Maw, which you can watch by hitting the card above to stay up to date. In today's video, we're going over the ending of Little Nightmares after a quick recap of what led us to the ending. Hi folks, I'm R, your narrator, and here's Little Nightmares ending explained. Before we get into the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and beware, as there will be spoilers ahead. To understand the endings better, let's quickly recap what happened throughout the game. Six is a 9-year-old girl who wears a yellow raincoat, differentiating her from the other kids she encounters throughout the game. Six awakens from a nightmare of a geisha-looking woman as she traverses through this place, which is an underwater vessel called the Maw, designed for much larger inhabitants. She encounters the janitor, a blind man with disproportionately long arms who imprisons children the same size of Six. Six experiences debilitating bouts of hunger throughout the game, which at this stage gets satiated by a loaf of bread an imprisoned kid throws to her. Suffering from another bout of hunger, Six falls right into the janitor's trap and gets caged and taken away. At this point, Six breaks her cage and doesn't attempt to save any other kids who are caged as well. Six manages to sever the janitor's arms using a collapsing door, then suffering from another bout of hunger, eats a live rat. Six then comes across to the twin chefs who seem passionate about their work, as seemingly they only cook, wash, and sleep. After escaping the twin chefs, Six observes the sheer enormity of this vessel as a massive ship is offloading hordes upon hordes of obese, professionally dressed guests. After arriving at a higher level, Six witnesses these obese guests gorging on what seem to be uncooked meat, presumably from the dead children and other animals in a Japanese-styled restaurant, overseen by the geisha-looking lady from Six's nightmare. After escaping the hordes of guests trying to consume Six, Six experiences another bout of hunger, where she eats a harmless gnome who was offering Six a sausage. Bad Six. Bad. Six then has a final face-off with the lady. The lady possesses powerful telekinetic powers. Six then defeats the lady by using a mirror, as the lady seems to have a weakness from the mirror's reflection. After the lady lays defenseless, Six experiences another bout of hunger and takes a few bites from the lady, killing her. In turn, she absorbs the lady's powers. As Six heads for the exit, she walks slowly amongst the guests who try to capture her, but she uses her powers and drains them of life. She then heads to the exit into the sunlight. To understand the ending better, let's go over the DLC story very quickly, which is called The Secrets of the Maw. In the DLC, we take control of a boy dubbed as the Runaway Kid. The Runaway Kid kills a monstrous creature called the Granny, who resides underwater and pulls children beneath in the depth of the Maw, which is heavily flooded. The Runaway Kid witnesses the lady's face, which is a deformed, grotesque scenery. The lady turns the boy into a gnome who ends up being eaten by Six, as he was the one holding the sausage. Now let's try to understand what happened at the end. In Six's campaign, Six defeats the lady by holding a mirror against it. All other mirrors are shattered, suggesting it's her weakness. But in the DLC, we witness the lady looking at herself in an unbroken mirror, unmasked, showing us her true deformed face resembling the guests and the chefs. So why does the lady look into the mirror unfazed in the DLC, while in the main campaign it weakens her? There are some theories surrounding this, but I'm going to discuss with you the most reasonable one. The lady is presumably the most powerful entity on this vessel and controls it. She has powerful magic which can do many things. Telekinesis, death at sight, and turning people into gnomes, just to mention a few. But her only weakness seems to be looking at herself in a mirror. The lady usually wears a mask from which her powers might stem from. She walks around confidently and engages in battles with her mask on, and at some point, we see her portraits having a normal looking face. But without the mask, She has a deformed face, which she is very insecure about to the point that she's terrified and runs away. While 6 was holding a mirror, the lady had her mask on, which could mean her powers were shooting back at her, therefore the mirror reflects the powers. While without the mask, she's just a very weak person and can't do much. The gnomes are seen to be working, throwing coal in the moss furnace, keeping it running. Some other gnomes are skittish and run away. We learn in the DLC that the gnomes are no other than children who possibly tried to run away, whom the lady turned into gnomes. At the end, the gnomes 6 hugged, gather and observe 6 exit the maw without attempting to run away themselves. This could suggest that they might be bound to this place and can exit the maw. We also learned that 6 ate one of them, whom turned out to be the runaway kid, our protagonist in the DLC. There are many theories surrounding this. Many theories suggest that 6 is related to the lady, and many others suggest she's another villain. I understand why these theories have been thought of. 6, like the guests, has bouts of hunger and eats anything or anyone in her way without any remorse or thought. We know that, as she ate a live rat and a gnome and fell right into the janitor's trap without thinking about them at all. She also didn't care much about other children and didn't attempt to save any of them while she broke her cage. So we can say for sure she's not a hero. But a villain? Maybe not. A villain is a person who actively puts misery upon others, causing them suffering to obtain certain benefits, like the lady or the guests. Although 6 doesn't do that actively, at one point she ate a gnome for her selfish benefit, not considering the life of the gnome or the runaway kid. Making matters worse, she had the option to eat a sausage but still chose the gnome. So calling her a villain is arguable in here. Considering all of the information so far, after 6 eats the runaway kid, doesn't attempt to save anyone, eats the lady, kills some of the guests, and possesses dark magic, 6 exits the maw, and at the post-credit scene, she's standing outside of the maw with a foghorn being heard in the distance. So quite possibly, 6 gets on board of a ship trying to offload many new incoming guests. As the maw is an island, the maw is presumably the safest place and the best place, like a haven, in a post-apocalyptic world where the populace is controlled by TV. In Little Nightmares 2, we can see that 6 has been imprisoned by the hunter. So what happened to her powers? Couldn't she just drain the hunter's life off him? This time we take control of an actual hero who risks his own life to save 6, a selfish character who cared about no one. And this raises the question if the new hero could actually trust 6 or not. Or would 6 just eat him after experiencing another bout of hunger? Well, we're going to discuss that in a new video which I'm working on about the Little Nightmares 2 theories. Here we have it, folks, for the Little Nightmares ending explained. Thanks for watching the video. I'm going to make a video discussing theories surrounding Little Nightmares 2. Keep tuned by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell not to miss out on it. Till the next one, folks, make sure to have a smile on your face and have a beautiful day.